to say something.
I thought you were gonna.
Okay, hang on. Hey guys, what's up? We are That Horror Couple. I'm Kaylee.
And I'm Rob.
And we just got out of seeing The EXORCIST Believer, and we are so pumped to talk about it with you guys today.
Hell yeah, good God, goddamn.
It was awesome. We enjoyed it.
I'm on a highway to hell.
Yeah.
On a highway to hell.
Let's talk about this movie.
Shout with the devil.
Oh yeah.
That horror couple.
It's us.
That horror couple. That horror couple. And they talk about horror.
Like and subscribe. When two girls disappear into the woods and return 3 days later with no memory of what happened to them, the father of one girl seeks out Chris McNeil, who's been forever altered by what happened to her daughter 50 years ago. Directed by David Gordon Green, starring Leslie Odom Jr., Ann Dowd, Olivia O'Neill, Lydia Jewett, and Ellen Burstyn. To kick off our likes of the film, let us just say, go ahead and put up a spoiler warning, because we'll probably mention spoilers in this review. So if you haven't seen the movie and you don't want anything spoiled, maybe come back after you've seen the movie if you don't want any spoilers. So,
God damn it.
spoiler warning.
Just watch it anyway.
Yeah, I really loved like the cinematography for this movie. It was super Exorcist-ish to me, like the first movie with all of the fall leaves and just the overall atmosphere with the music and cinematography. I thought it was awesome, and it reminded me a lot of the first movie.
Well, I'd have to agree with you. I just felt like David Gordon Green, the way he shot this was reminding me of just the way he shot the Halloween
The new Halloween trilogy, yeah, those movies are awesome.
And, you know, even if there are a lot of haters about those, we can agree that, you know, the film looked awesome.
Yeah, no,
But,
like the cinematography. I think people would say that,
I feel like he captured the vibe of, like, you know, the small town neighborhood or, like, you know, the autumn atmosphere or something like that.
Yeah.
I would agree with you. It's very well shot, very well made.
Yeah, I think so. And I really loved our cast that we got. Our main guy, Victor, who's played by Leslie Odom Jr., I really loved his character, and I really rooted for him the entire movie. I felt like right away when we kicked off the film, we got to know him on kind of like an intimate, heartbreaking type of level that really made you feel for him, and you were like, come on, this guy's got to get a break somehow. I mean, you're just rooting for him the whole movie.
Well, the film opens up similar to like The Exorcist, where like, you know, we see dogs fighting and
in a foreign country.
They're in Haiti, and there's voodoo like
stuff going on,
rituals going on. Like, we're introduced to Victor, his wife, and she's expecting a baby, Angela. Unfortunately, like, you know, his wife passes away, and he has to raise his child on his own.
Yeah.
So Victor is a single parent with his daughter Angela, and
they're very close.
Yeah, like the connection and the back and forth between Victor and his daughter. I like that connection that they had.
Yeah.
The dialogue.
Yeah.
You know, the vibe they had
like
back and forth.
The camaraderie they had back and forth, the relationship they had. I really loved the young lady that played his daughter as well. She was awesome in this movie, and I really cared about her and her character and what was going on with her the entire time.
And it's in Georgia.
And it took place in Georgia. That's pretty cool. Like The Walking Dead is filmed in Georgia. There's a lot of shows and stuff that's filmed in Georgia. I think it's really cheap to film there.
And then eventually Angela goes off to school, and she tells her dad she's hanging out with her friend today. And
Catherine.
Her friend's Catherine. He seems a little bit overly protective of his daughter.
Of course,
because he lost his wife. So his daughter's like, well, he has really. So he's like, be home at a certain time.
Yeah.
Very protective. Like, who you gonna be with? Where you going? It's like my mom, you know?
Yeah.
She was like, Robert, who's this friend?
Yeah.
And then when I came home, she smelled me for cigarettes. She's like, what is that smell, Robert?
Rob.
Yeah, those funny shaped cigarettes.
No.
I'm like, no, Mom, don't do that stuff. What happened was Angela and Karen, they walked off into the woods and they started messing around with, I don't know if it was like some Ouija board voodoo stuff.
No, it was like a pendulum. Like, so they're putting each other in like a hypnotic state or whatever. Yeah, they were kind of opening themselves up to like all realms, I think. What they were called, they didn't realize like.
Well, it was like Linda Blair with Captain Howdy.
Yeah, well, she was playing with a Ouija board. Here, it was similar because they were in like the environment they were in and pendulum that they were using and what they were trying to do. Like, they were opening up a channel which talked to like all realms and all dimensions. I don't think that they realized like what they were doing, and instead of talking to Angela's mother, they talk to something else. Yeah, so.
Exactly. And the girls go missing.
Yeah.
So now that the girls are missing, there's like an intense search now.
Yeah.
And you really feel like the worry with the parents. It's not just Victor, it's also Catherine's mother and father.
Yes.
And the parents meet and there's conflict there. So
Yes.
you feel the tension. They're like, my kid does not wander off. No, my kid doesn't wander off.
Yeah, because Catherine's
like,
family has more of like a religious background, whereas Victor, he doesn't have a religion that he follows. But the more and more these weird instances happen with Angela and Catherine, and they're very similar. The girls are obviously not the same as they were when they went into the woods. They came out someone different. All these weird things start happening. They both end up in the hospital. Victor finds out about Chris McNeil, calls her for help, and all of that is really cool. I have to say, I really love seeing Ellen Burstyn back as Chris McNeil. That was really cool.
Yeah, well, in the hospital, when the girls were getting examined, it did remind me a lot of Reagan getting examined.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
But it was with modern day technology, of course, and
yeah,
newer equipment since 1973. But
no,
yeah.
that scene did remind me.
And that's what I like about this film. There was enough to remind you of
a few callbacks to the original
Exorcist,
film. Yeah,
I feel like this film was definitely its own thing.
It was definitely its own thing. There was a few callbacks to the original where you could say, that reminds me of this or that. But I think it definitely was its own thing, like a reboot type of thing where it didn't even feel like it was trying to, like, one up The Exorcist or anything like that. It just felt like it goes right along with it.
No, this is clearly like a different story, and it's clearly like 50 years later.
Yeah.
And it was awesome to see a character of Chris come back.
Yes, I was so excited to see her. I loved her. And
she is like the Dr. Loomis of the story.
She is the Dr. Loomis or the Laurie Strode.
Damn you, Michael!
I don't know if we'll see her in the other, spoiler warning, I don't know if we'll see her in the other movies, but I sure would hope so. That would be really awesome.
But I did like the character of Chris McNeil. The interaction when Victor went to go visit her, and you find out where she's been since the original Exorcist.
Yes.
And she says since then, she wrote a book about all this. Her daughter Reagan freaked out about, this whole story getting out, so she's gone now. And she said that, but I studied every religion, every
form of
possession and exorcism.
Yep.
And she's like, there's a bunch of similarities
in between each
no matter
practice.
what you believe, there's a lot of similarities in this. And the thing about Victor was he was an atheist, and Catherine's parents were all like religious,
super religious.
So it didn't matter what they believed. These parents came together. Chris McNeil came together, and they wanted to help these girls, and that's what I like about it. The camaraderie of all this.
The group of people, as they came from different backgrounds and they came from different religious beliefs or non-religious beliefs, and they put that aside to try to help these two young ladies, and that was really powerful.
It's like a exorcism group hug here.
Yeah.
Yeah, or at summer camp when we touch penises.
Or when they're like, no.
I did like these girls when they came back from the woods, slowly them unraveling, becoming more possessed. I liked that whole progress. Like Angela was just staring off at her dad at first.
Yeah, that was really odd. She's like, ooh.
And then she's like hitting lights off and on.
Yeah.
And, like, she's talking weird. And then there's Catherine, who just hates church.
I know.
So that's all. That was pretty funny.
If you've seen the trailer, you've seen the scene in the trailer where she's in the church, it was just so funny because
it reminded me of being a kid and my mom taking me to church.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I know. I was like, I remember church sucks. I was like, oh no.
I used to miss wrestling challenge on Sunday mornings because my mom would take me to church.
That scene was insane though.
It was insane.
That was insane.
Yeah, all these scenes in the trailer that we saw,
they were really cool on the big screen.
Whether it be the church scene, whether it be
the exorcism scene,
or how about when the girl hit the glass and on the other side?
Oh yeah, was Chris McNeil or whatever.
Chris McNeil was just staring at her.
Yeah.
That scene, all these scenes we saw in the trailer, it's better, and it's so much better in the movie. I think. It's more intense.
I think so too.
It's more jump scary.
Yeah. No, this movie, I will say, it differs from other supernatural type horror movies that have come out, like, especially since the 2010s, like the Insidious franchise and the Conjuring franchise, where I love those movies. Those movies, I think, do rely a lot on jump scares, whereas the Exorcist film, the original, and this one is more of like a get under your skin, slow burn type movie where it makes you feel really icky and like what's gonna happen. It's not so much in your face at times as it is more of like a background slow burn, I feel like.
Yeah. There were a few good jump scares though.
Yes.
Very effective jump scares.
And I'm not going to spoil and say exactly what happened in the scene or anything, but I really like the exorcism scene in the movie. I thought it was done very well.
It was.
And it had me on the edge of my seat, and I was like, what's going to happen? I think it was done well, and there were certain things that reminded me of the scene from the original Exorcist in that scene.
We got the classic head spin with a twist though.
We did,
spoiler,
yeah. Yeah, but we got something like that, so you have to check it out.
Spin. I do like how different than the first one, it wasn't just the priest giving the exorcism. The parents were involved to help their kids. And I thought that was very effective.
That was really cool.
We got parents coming together. We got a nurse who's a retired nun coming together. We got a priest who didn't have permission from the church, but he's like, fuck the church, man.
Like Russell Crowe in the Pope's Exorcist.
Yes. He's a renegade priest.
Yeah.
He smokes cigarettes because he's badass. He's like, I will help this kid.
Yeah. I really love the priest from the original Exorcist. He's like getting drunk and like, he doesn't care. He's like, like all the priests in that movie are all like partying and like getting drunk and stuff. I'm like, are they supposed to be doing that? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah, the cocktail party.
We watched it the other night and I'm like, Rob, are they allowed to be doing this? Like, he's like singing at the piano all drunk with like Chris McNeil and her rich friends. It was,
The wine's the blood of Christ.
Yeah, that is true. As far as dislikes of the film, the one thing I want to say, I don't want to say because it is the big spoiler of the movie. So I'll just say it ended a little bit different than what I would have liked, I guess. Just a tiny bit, maybe. Just, I don't know how to say it without spoiling it, so it's
ended
like,
on a downer?
Yeah, a little bit. You'll see what I mean when you see it. I'm not going to say what happened, but yeah, that part of it was a little sad. But yeah, I mean, I was fine with it, but if I had to nitpick the movie and say that I had to pick out some dislikes, I would say that was like a big one for me, I guess. The Exorcist is not like a super happy movie in by any means. It's like it is more of like a little bit of a downer in some parts. So I think this one stayed true to the original by staying with the tone of the original film. They did a great job in this.
Dislikes. You know what? If you try to compare this to the original Exorcist and see which one's better, you're not gonna like this film.
Yeah.
Because I feel like this film, it stands on its own. And I feel like The Exorcist, I feel like it was just so far ahead of its time.
True.
When it came out. Nowadays, you put out a possession film and it's not gonna have the same effect.
Yeah.
It's not. And if you're gonna say like, oh, the original was so much better, yeah, okay, because it came out in 1973. I mean, it's 2023.
Yeah.
We've basically seen it all, so I feel like they did a good job of what they had. But I don't know. As a fan of the original, I would like to see a little more Chris McNeil.
True. That's a good dislike. Yeah, I agree with that. She wasn't in it enough.
It took a little while. This film was very well paced. I wasn't bored or anything, but it's a 2-hour film. It took about half an hour to 45 minutes to like set the story of the family.
Yeah.
And like
2 different families.
before they were possessed and everything was wild. That takes about.
It took a little while.
It takes about 45 minutes to get into it. But you know what? We just watched the original Exorcist. We relived it, and there was a lot of slow parts in that.
There's a lot of slow parts in that movie too. So I feel like it does match the pacing of the original film.
So there were a lot of storytelling parts in the original. So I feel like this was Exorcist style, but there are a little slow parts. If you're gonna compare it to the original, you're not gonna enjoy it. So I just say look at it like it's its own film.
As far as final thoughts of the film, I really enjoyed this movie. I think it was great. I think it definitely would add to the collection of our Exorcist movie collection. I'd be happy to add it to our collection. I'm gonna give it like an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. I would buy it. I'd watch it again. I'm gonna say, do I love it as much as I love the new Halloween movies? No.
My overall thoughts is I think it's awesome that there's a new Exorcist movie out there. This was good. It was everything I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
I mean, it's everything I was expecting.
I don't know. A lot of people don't like him. I love him. I love, you know us. We love the new Halloween trilogy.
I like everything he did, and everybody just hates it right before they see it.
I don't know. Yeah, people hated it. People were saying they hated it already because he did it. I don't know.
He must have banged somebody's mom, and like as revenge, they're like spreading rumors about
him.
Or they're talking shit on the internet.
I think he's brilliant, honestly. I love his movies.
No,
I really do.
I just think he's a MILF banger.
Yeah.
And somebody's son got mad.
Yeah.
Banged my mom. I thought it was a good movie. Did the character of Catherine look like Reagan to you?
Yeah.
She looked a lot like
her
Reagan.
Her gown looked like the gown she was wearing too.
There was a lot of.
It was a shout out.
There was a lot of shout outs and nostalgia in this, but it didn't go overboard. It was annoying me. And we also get a good cameo of somebody else, but I don't want to say
we're not gonna say who. Yeah.
There's definitely a lot of shout outs for the fans. And let's keep in mind this is one of 3 films.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're off to a hell of a start.
Yeah, no, I think that was great. Yeah,
this
definitely.
This is another trilogy, and the story's not done. So this would be cool, you know?
What's your score?
My score is 7.5.
7.5? Okay. Yeah. So you're kind of on the same page with me. You don't like it as much as you like the Halloween movies.
No.
I didn't either.
He also found Chris McNeil on YouTube, and the kids were texting each other, so it's a nowadays movie.
That is true.
You know, McNeil's on YouTube like, I wrote the book.
Yeah.
The devil rocked my world.
Yeah. Make sure you guys let us know in the comments what you thought of the movie. Did you like it? Did you not? Make sure you go see it in theaters this weekend, guys. We definitely think it was worth seeing in theaters.
It's a good film.
Let us know your thoughts. Make sure you're hitting that bell to be notified when we drop all of our new horror movie trailers daily reactions, horror movie reviews, all that horror goodness. Make sure you're liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. Once again, I'm Kaylee.
And I'm Rob.
And we hope you guys have a wonderful day. We'll see you guys soon.
Thanks for watching.